I think Ford is getting ready to announce a fully electric Super Duty pickup truck, or what I want to call the Super Duty. Play on words there. In this video, I'm going to break down why. Now, one thing to point out, I'm not a Ford employee, so I don't have any sort of insider knowledge. I don't work for Ford corporate, I don't work at the dealership level, so this is really just pure conjecture. But I do have to say, when the Lightning was announced, that really made me think it's not necessarily a matter of if Ford will electrify the Super Duty, but when will they electrify it? Now let's rewind a little bit. I'm not sure if you knew, but Ford's first electric truck was actually the Ranger EV. It provided range up to 80 miles, but it came with a hefty sticker price of over $52,000. When you adjust it for today's dollars, with inflation, that's over $87,000. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. But the Ranger truck was sold between 1998 and 2002. It was mostly used by fleet customers, which, kind of makes sense because apparently Ford had some fairly lucrative lease deals that were available for companies that were leasing these vehicles for their fleet. But let's fast forward to May 2021. I had friends that were excited when the F-150 Lightning was announced. 3 friends that decided to put down their $100 reservation in order to guarantee their spot for their F-150 truck. It was exciting, and by all accounts, the truck has been a hit. It's got pretty capable specs. Like, the thing can tow up to 10,000 pounds, it's got payload capacity up to 2,000 pounds, and it also has the range of over 300 miles, which is about 515 kilometers, as long as you're in the extended range, which is pretty dang good, especially considering this is the first generation truck. So I can only imagine, as battery technology improves and other things improve, what the technology is going to look for the F-150 Lightning. So then after the launch of the Lightning, I had a thought where I don't think it's a matter of if, but more so when is Ford going to announce the electrification of the Super Duty truck. And then this happened. Ford announced BlueOval City, where they're investing over $11 billion to create 11,000 jobs in factories that will create a new lineup of EVs. Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, wants to bring all manufacturing in-house. And that's from assembling the next line of EVs into even battery production. They want to be able to recycle batteries in-house. So rather than shipping things overseas in order to break down materials and things like that, it's about bringing the whole build cycle in-house. No more worrying about overseas suppliers and shipping delays. It's exciting. And BlueOval City sounds crazy. 3,600 acre campus covering 6 square miles. Kind of ridiculous, but it sounds so cool all at the same time. The whole idea of wrapping production into North America, I think, is absolutely brilliant. It's really that idea of bringing manufacturing back to North America that we've heard a number of companies make that promise over the last few years. So it's exciting to see that Ford is really driving that home by bringing the entire production process back to North America. Now, in Ford press releases, they've mentioned time and time again that BlueOval City is going to be building the next generation F-Series trucks. Now, for anybody who knows much about Ford trucks, the F-Series doesn't just talk about the F-150, so we're not talking about just the regular F-150, the hybrid, or the Lightning. The F-Series refers to the entire F-Series lineup. The 250, the 350, the 450, the entire Super Duty lineup. And with all of these subtle hints, I think that's what Ford's game is. They're getting ready to announce the electrification of the Super Duty. Over the past week, I also listened to all of Jim Farley's podcasts on Spotify, Driving with Jim Farley, which is kind of neat. And even in all the interviews I've watched, I still think it's hilarious that he still goes by the name Jimmy Car. It's something that he picked up when he was a kid. I just think it's amazing that it just seems like a humble guy from all these interviews that I've seen. So listen to the podcast, and then I started doing what most people like to do on YouTube, and I just started going down the rabbit hole. But it was the rabbit hole of Jim Farley interviews. Now, out of all of the videos and the interviews that I watched, there were 2 of them that really stood out to me a little bit more than some of the others for a few different reasons. The first one was with Kid in a Sweet Shop. Now, around the 19-40-minute mark of that video, the host, Jody Kidd, and Jim Farley are talking about EVs and just kind of EVs in general. But there were a few things that he said in the interview that really had me wondering. He stressed the importance of Ford's commercial division, and he said it a few times. Now, last year, Ford ended up introducing the E-Transit, which was an electrified transit van. So their full-size Transit is available fully electric now, which I just think is opening up amazing possibilities for the commercial customers. But he really seemed to focus in and zero in on trucks. He mentioned a few times that Ford is very good at large vehicles, and he's very excited about their commercial lineup. Now, if you've already got an electric Transit, what could make you more exciting for the future of what Ford has to offer your commercial customers? Now, outside of the Transit van, what's one vehicle that caters to commercial customers? It's the F-Series trucks. Now, Jim Farley then started talking about BlueOval City, how it's geothermal and green, but there was one line that stood out to me, and that's when Jim Farley mentioned that they were looking at making a pickup truck that isn't the Lightning. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe it's the Maverick. The problem though is that the Maverick's only in its second production cycle. It was introduced for the 2022 model. It's already got the hybrid powertrain on top of that, so I don't think it would make sense. The Maverick is built on the same platform as the Bronco Sport and the Ford Escape. So I think when that vehicle or those lines of vehicles are ready to go electric, it's going to be the three of them that are going to be announced, assuming that they're not axed. Apparently we are going to be getting a hybrid Bronco Sport, which kind of makes sense, probably with the same engine that we're looking at inside of the Ford Escape, so we can nix the Maverick off that list. So the next option then would be the Ranger. I mean, we heard earlier that the Ranger does have a history of being an electric vehicle. But, I mean, at the same time, if you take a look at what's going on with the 2023 Ranger, like we look at some specs and some different things in Australia, it has a new body style, it has a new interior, but it features the same diesel engines that we would find in previous generations of the vehicle. So it doesn't have an electric version of the vehicle, but I mean, maybe it's kind of like the baby step towards it. Maybe. I think that we can scrap the Ranger going electric for now, and that really only leaves the F-Series. We already have the F-150 Lightning, so looking at the SuperDuty series is kind of looking like it makes more and more sense. Then I saw another interview with CNBC, and in this interview, Jim Farley mentioned a few times that Ford is the leader for commercial vehicles, selling over 1 million F-Series trucks every year. Again, F-Series, not strictly F-150. I think it's only a matter of time before Ford revolutionizes the heavy-duty truck market with EVs that are going to blow people's expectations away. They're going to have payload and towing capacities that are going to be absolutely incredible, ranges that commercial customers will absolutely love. And if the Lightning is any sort of an indication, I think commercial customers and fifth-wheel towers alike are going to have their minds blown with the introduction of the electric SuperDuty. So, when do I think that Ford's going to make this announcement? I don't know. I can't really say because I'm not a Ford employee, so I'm not sure when they're going to officially make the announcement. But with all of the small hints that have been dropping over the course of the past year or so, with all of these interviews that Jim Farley's been in, I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. If I kind of had to pick a number out of a hat or make a guess, I'd probably say if we don't hear it in 2022, 2023 is going to be the year that Ford makes that announcement. This is going to be an exciting time for the truck market. But that was just my take on when I think we could probably expect an electric SuperDuty. I know, I'm just some crazy guy on the internet, so what are your thoughts? Drop down in the comment section below and let me know. But if you enjoyed this video, want to see more like it, don't forget to share, subscribe if you haven't already, and until I see you next time, take care. But let's flash forward to May of 2021. That's the Ford SuperDuty, and that's when Jim Farley had mentioned that they're looking at producing. For sakes.